also want to acknowledge before I get into my remarks, it is true that when you are a mayor or when you are a councilor, it is a baton race, and you are inheriting the work, the good work that those have done before you. And so, even though she is not here, Councilor Jeannie Q, I'd like to just give her a round of applause for just her advocacy for years in this community. And so, yes, I also want to acknowledge Jessica Bell, who is our artist. She's going to come up and speak here after this. But your art, not just this piece, but it speaks for itself. You are not only an artist, but you're a teacher. You know, there's some people who say, oh, those who can't do, they teach. Well, she's doing and teaching. And so I think we could not have picked a better person to represent the West Side than who we've selected. So Route 66 is special because it represents so much about the American spirit and the spirit of Tulsa. It is a spirit of adventure, connection, and possibility. And that spirit erupted in 1901 when the Sue Bland oil well put Tulsa on the map. And it opened our city to a world of possibilities. I remind people all the time, Tulsa began on the west side. And so it is very fitting that Route 66 passes through Redford. So I need to serve a little bit more often, but I do serve as a volunteer at the village, at Route 66 Village. And one of the things that I get to experience along with those other volunteers every week, I serve on Sundays, is dozens of tourists and folks from across the world every week come through our community. I remember one particular Sunday, there was a couple from India, there was a man from France, there was a family from Australia, all in the same day. And so in 2026, we are going to welcome the world to Tulsa. Not only are we welcoming them to drive this route, but I believe that many of them are driving this route because they will also want to experience that same spirit that animated this community and that animates our country. But before it belongs to them, our international guests, it belongs to you, those of you sitting here, who make our portion of Route 66 what it is. This installation, this dedication belongs to you first. And so to everyone gathered here who loves the West Side, to the village board, to those who serve at the depot, to our Main Street partners, and to those who love Route 66, and to our esteemed artists, I say thank you, and it is a joy that through your partnership we get to welcome the world to our side of town. And so I'm very grateful, and right now I want to introduce the artist of the hour. She's going to come and speak a few words. Will you please make welcome Jessica Bell.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. And I do want to point out, though, we coordinated this all with you, the mayor, Michelle Dill. We came prepared for today. But I want to start with thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for having me here today. And thank you for the opportunity to create this sculpture honoring the history of Route 66 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This was a fun project from start to finish, and I had several virtual meetings with museum stakeholders and museum members to design and make this piece, which truly has shaped my community engagement practice as a public artist. Everyone here at the museum was so helpful, taking me on virtual tours so I could take photographs of things that were important to this area. And through those photographs that I took and that they provided to me, I was able to create the drawings that we used for the CNC cutouts for this piece. Stories in Steel represents the history specifically of this area. I think it's important to represent culture and make sure that the community is seen and heard. And this has aspects from the present day all the way back to the past. I am so grateful for this opportunity, and thank you again for having me out here today. Up next, I would like to welcome Chair of Art Commission, Michelle Dill.
Good morning, everybody. I actually served on the committee along with the museum staff for this project, and it is so wonderful. And don't worry, I'm an actor, so I can talk above the train. So wonderful to see this finally come to fruition. It's been a couple of years, and that's always a challenge. I want to share with you a quote from Americans for the Arts. Public art is a reflection of how we see the world. It humanizes the built environment and invigorates public spaces. It provides an intersection between past, present, and future, between disciplines, and between ideas. Public art is accessible to all. And as you can tell, this is a perfect place for public art because you are experiencing all of Tulsa as we sit here on this beautiful day. A brief story about how this came to fruition. It's always really interesting to talk with the stakeholders at the beginning, get the ideas that everyone has, and then see the final piece. The one thing that came through all the talks was a 360-degree photo opportunity, and if you position yourself perfectly, just right over here, you get the skyline of Tulsa behind this beautiful piece of art. And to know all of the ideas, which were wonderful, that were given to Jessica, but all of the many different ideas that were thrown at you, and this beautiful, cohesive, representative piece of art that reflects Tulsa culture, Tulsa history, and I would even say going into our future. So an amazing job. Thank you so much. And thank you for supporting public art. I'd like to bring back the mayor to finish with concluding remarks.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for your leadership. It has been absolutely a treat to work with you, to work with the commission. I am not an actor, but I did go to acting camp when I was 10 or 11, just so you know. But I'll say this, as I was looking at the panels as I was sitting down, the one that I was reflecting the most on is maybe one that perhaps is the most basic. It is the one that has Red Fork and has 1883 on it. That is before we were an incorporated city. It was before the state of Oklahoma was a state. What started here was probably at the time, it was unclear what it would turn into. But what was started here is now turned into this great gift that we all have. This great gift to continue to progress on and to take this story into the future and continue to aim high and dream big, continue to create and innovate and continue to create something special that folks from around the world will appreciate for years and years and years to come. Thank you, Jessica, for bringing that to life. Thank you, Michelle, for your leadership. Thank everybody who is here, who continues to invest in telling the stories of this great community. I don't know what we're going to do next, but I think, and I would encourage everybody to come take a few pictures. What a great day for Tulsa. What a great day for the West Side. What a great day for Red Fork. And what a great day as we continue to ladder up and level up as we celebrate what this community was, what we are, and what we're going to continue to be. Thank you all for being here this morning.
sure does.
Yeah.
on where he gets set up. I mean, if you just want to look in between us, I guess. You just look in between us, that way it'll look like you're kind of looking at it. You want to be
Is it too squinty or? Okay.
huh?
Like the sun is like right.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Hope it won't take too long.
Test 1 2 test 1 2 3 4 test 1 2 1 2 3 4 test 1 2 3 4 test 1 2 1 2.
You ready?
All right, guys.
You ready?
Good to go.
All right. Yo, first thing, just kind of tell us your name and spell it.
Okay. My name is Jessica Bell. It's JESSICABELL.
And I guess your title would just be artist. Okay. All right. Just kind of tell us about your research.
And do you want me to do an intro of like, oh hi, I'm Jessica and this is my sculpture, or just start talking about it?
You can start talking about it.
Okay. This sculpture that I made is called Stories in Steel. It's made up of CNC plasma cut pieces of imagery from photographs that I took and that were provided to me by this local community. I used the photographs to create drawings that were then CNC plasma cut to create the images for this sculpture. This sculpture represents the history of Route 66 for this area, starting back in 1883 all the way up to today.
Can you tell us a little bit about this art? I know you described kind of the process, how these were cut out behind you, but where did the idea come from? The cylinder shape and kind of the collage, if you will, of different landmarkers of Route 66. Why are these ones special for you in your artwork?
For this sculpture, we designed it in a 360 cylinder. Can I start over?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
For this sculpture, we designed it in a 360 model. The reason is we wanted it to be a photo opportunity for people who are visitors to this area. This is a hub for Route 66 where visitors from across the country and even the world come to visit. So the images selected for this piece are pieces that the community wanted people to know about for this area. And with a 360 design, it's made so you can walk around the sculpture to interact with it and get different backgrounds as you're taking your photos.
Just my artistic side, what is it about the cylinder? I know the 360 camera was a huge, probably, that was very important for this artwork, but was there any other reason why it is in a cylinder shape? Maybe to be visible to oncoming traffic on the highway so people could look over and go, oh, look at that, maybe I'll stop, or
See it.
is it more simple?
More so of they wanted 360, but
Okay.
Any reason why it's blue?
so with the initial design, there was going to be no center cylinder. It was only going to be the cutouts, but then we were concerned about safety. So would children be climbing on it? If there would happen to be any litter or debris, would it get stuck inside the sculpture? So I redesigned the sculpture to include the blue cylinder. I chose the sky blue so that way it would blend in with the background and not be distracting from the actual images that were chosen for this piece.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where did you kind of get your passion for art? Where did that start? Whether it was young age or later on in life?
Yeah, so I've had a passion for art my entire life. I went to school for art. My master's focused on ceramics. And then about 10 years ago, I took an apprenticeship under another artist who's a welder to learn how to weld. So I've been welding for about 10 years. Since then, I moved into public art about 3-4 years ago. And I just love it, and it took off from there. My favorite part about public art is the community engagement. So with this piece particularly, I was meeting with the museum members and staff to help design it and get feedback on it, and that is really integral in my practice, is meeting with the community and making sure the piece I design is designed for the area and doesn't appear to be a piece that was just made and placed into the space.
So it sounds like the community itself in that process is artistic in a way as well.
They are. I feel as though the community helps design the piece, but then it's up to me to interpret what they want and make it in my artistic style.
You guys have anything else?
That'll work for me.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I feel like with artists, we're introverts. We're shy. We're not.
Yeah, no, of course.
We're not the theater
Behind
person.
the camera, even asking questions can be tough.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Pick your stuff.
Oh, the trains. Yeah, that's where we start.
Are you still shooting over here?
I'm just shooting the sign over there.
Okay.